Hey boy, it's me. I'm bored. What the fuck's going on outside? Probably like windy today. Here's like some of the screams of the damned coming from outside or something. I don't know if that's being picked up on the mic or. So usually I don't really like responding to people like Ben Shapiro, because like I'm pretty sure like Ben Shapiro's like literally written books where he's like, oh yeah, just use like literal unironic debate tactics, just like don't even give a fuck about what you're saying. If you're debating with liberals, just like attack liberals for attacking liberals' sake. Actual arguments don't matter. I mean, this is a guy that said like, lol, why don't people in Miami just like move if the sea levels rise because of climate change? Probably being funded by a lot of like really powerful I don't know, like oil barons or whatever, and like conservative news, whatever the fuck. So like I don't think he's like operating in like exactly good faith or whatever. So like in a way it's like, what's the point? But at the same time, I mean, he has 4.35 million subscribers. That's way more than basically any other political stream I know. How much does Steven Crowder have? I'm gonna look up Steven Crowder. Holy shit! I had no idea Steven Crowder has so many subscribers. What the fuck? How many views does he get per video? What the fuck? How does he have so many subscribers? He doesn't seem to get that many views per video, considering how many subscribers he has. But like, it's a good amount. I mean, like Ben Shapiro seems to get way less actually. Holy shit! Ben Shapiro does not get that many views, considering he has 4.35 million subscribers. Let's do a crossover. Steven Crowder breaks down the dangers of radical gender ideology.
Joining us on the line.
So we're gonna do this one last because this is the longest one. We have to react to the gay Siri one first because that's probably gonna be funny.
Gay news. Siri is going gay. You need to hear the new voice.
Siri is going gay.
I'm Siri. Choose the voice you'd like me to use.
So much heroism.
Hi, I'm Siri.
Gay news. Siri is going gay. You need to hear the new voice of Siri.
Hi, I'm Siri. Choose the voice you'd like me to use.
So much heroism.
Hi, I'm Siri.
Gay news. Siri is...
That was like a fever dream, honestly. I wasn't expecting that to be just this confusing. I had to watch it twice because the first time I was like, what the fuck just happened? And then the second time I was like, what the fuck just happened? I'm gonna watch this again and like break down why this is confusing to me.
Is going gay.
Okay, so some guy is claiming that Siri is going gay, right?
You need to hear the new voice of Siri.
Okay, we need to hear the new voice of Siri. Let's hear the new voice of Siri.
Hey, I'm Siri. Choose the voice you'd like me to use.
So much.
First of all, I thought Siri was like a girl. I guess Siri's like a guy now, but he's like an effeminate gay guy. But he doesn't even sound like effeminate. Like, I feel like I sound way gayer than this. I'm not even that gay, so like, yeah, that's a confusing element to me. Like, the change of voice, like, does not seem gay enough to like warrant like this gay Siri meme. Like this claim that Siri is now gay, because like if I'm thinking of gay Siri, I'm expecting Siri to like come out in me, like no matter what they're gonna say, just every sentence has to start with "hey" or something like that, right? That could easily be a fucking straight person's voice. Like that doesn't sound that gay. Now we're gonna get Ben Shapiro's reaction to this, which is somehow even more bizarre. So he was saying that he was making fun of the fact that it's not heroic by sarcastically saying such heroism. I mean, like, how the fuck is Siri supposed to be heroic? Siri's a fucking AI, so like, I don't think like the claim was that it was heroic. I think they were saying that it was a gay Siri, and you know, this is an interesting fact, or I don't know if it's a fact, like it's, I don't even know if that Siri's supposed to be gay or whatever, but like, he uses a clip of the Russell Crowe in Gladiator.
Hi, I'm Siri.
Gay.
And he's saying, hi, I'm Siri. That's the most bizarre part of the video. So, you know, like, I don't know what that has to do with anything. Like, I expect him to say, are you not entertained, right? But he's saying, hi, I'm Siri. Is he saying that, like, the character from Gladiator is gay? Or is he saying that, like, it's funny because instead of saying, are you not entertained, he's saying, hi, I'm Siri. Which, like, is a funny subversion because you would use that meme in this context because it's supposed to be making fun of the fact that it's trivial that Siri is gay, apparently. That's the only way I can possibly interpret this joke. I know this is kind of like dumb me trying to like analyze the joke or whatever, but I legitimately just don't understand like what the fucking point of this joke is supposed to be. It's weird. That's how a lot of conservative comedy is, I guess. Like, it's just like they're not actually very funny people. They don't enjoy like levity or pleasurable experiences or happiness because they're conservative. So how could they? I mean, you have to be a pretty hateful person to be conservative. So it's like a lot of the times like their jokes are just like bizarre things happening and like that's supposed to be funny. Or like they just like insert a meme and they just like hope that the existence of that meme fills in the gap of like actually creating like a joke that is funny. This is the final video that I'm gonna watch. Let's see what's going on here. Let's speed this up because I don't wanna torture myself too long here. Let's go.
Joining us on the line, Steven Crowder, the funniest man in America. And
sure, the funniest man in America.
Ladder with Crowder as Stephen or C. Matheson, because for those who missed it,
C. Matheson
Steven identified as C. Matheson, a feminist theory writer, and was then admitted.
Okay,
program just to confuse you, so that way I can just I'll be walking backwards, setting landmines for you. That actually happened on a podcast.
Okay, hold on. Let's see what happened.
To talk about fat phobia. So, admitted to a peer review, identified as C. Matheson, a feminist theory writer, and was then admitted to a peer-reviewed conference to talk about fat phobia. So, Steve.
So, I don't get it. Was that supposed to prove something? I don't get it. So, like, they faked identifying as transgender and they're at a feminist conference. I mean, like, they're male feminists, so, like, I don't get what the point of that is supposed to be.
Or C.
I don't know if he thinks that's like an own, but, like, it doesn't seem like...
I'm going to change it mid-program.
It doesn't seem like
you, so that way I can just I'll be walking backwards, setting landmines.
It would matter that much.
There was a guy who then, I'm a woman now, the host had to act as though it was serious and then keep changing pronouns. That studies, and I wrote a thesis on, or a paper on fat...
I go to university. I haven't ever heard anything called fat studies. I don't even know what fucking university this is. I get what like the point of this is. They're owning academia because academia let them publish some fat studies thing.
Fat pride being
okay.
Mechanism.
Honestly, now I'm just
well,
confused as to why they do raping women, right? How do they know?
Right. The good news is...
I don't get it. Were they supposed to ask Ketanji Brown Jackson that, even though Ketanji Brown Jackson didn't have any accusations regarding that? Like, I don't get it. Is Ben Shapiro just mad that, like, they asked about a story that was, like, in the news at the time?
Honestly, now I'm just confused as to why they do raping women, right?
How dare they, I guess.
The good news is if he was habitually raping underage women and he had Ketanji Brown as he would have had a lenient sentence. So...
Wait, hold on. So, apparently Ben's trying to get an own, like, how did they know he was raping women? Like, because I guess, like, people who believe that trans people exist, they don't believe in women. Or I guess Ketanji Brown Jackson doesn't believe in women. But it's like, I don't think that the fact that he was raping women specifically was the issue. I think the rape was the most important thing. Like, it wouldn't really matter, at least I hope it wouldn't, that like he was raping women versus raping men. This obviously just some kind of like, I got you liberal thing. Like, it doesn't really need to make sense for them to be like, oh, got him.
I think we might have gone beyond the bill. Honestly, I mean, I don't know if we can't find common ground. Like, if I were to pander, right, to an audience of people. In other words, if I were to go, oh man, I don't know what this audience is like when I'm doing stand-up. Right? This is my interview. And I would say, what do I do to pander? Hey, we all hate pedophiles, right? To get them on my side. Only today, you would have 30% of the audience going, boo!
Yeah, no, that's exactly
right.
Yeah,
pedophiles, so loved by people. This is like the LGBTQ loves pedophiles thing. It's like, dumb meme.
About the intersex population. Okay, we make an exception. 0.02% of the population.
Yeah, it's not even 0.2% or whatever you were saying. Well, like, why would you make an exception? I talked about this on Twitter. Like, we don't normally do this kind of thing for like anything else, really. Like, usually, even if there's like a small percentage of people, we just adjust our definition to include those people. Like, nobody says that like for example, like there's only one hair color, because like the overwhelming majority of people have black hair. Or nobody says you can only use your right hand or your left hand, because like ambidextrous people are like, I think, less than 1% of the population, right? Nobody says that. They just adjust their definitions to like include reality. But Steven Crowder's like so desperate to like avoid reality that he's just like, oh well, ignore. Just ignore the inconvenient elements of, or contradictory elements to what I'm saying. Like, ignore anything that's inconvenient for me.
In on you when you go online. Using the internet without express VPN, that's giving up your privacy.
Wait, did he try to like make a transition between the bathroom thing and the express VPN? I have to see this.
Otherwise that'd be weird. You don't want people looking at you while you are in the bathroom. So why would you let people look in on you when you go online? Using the internet without express VPN, that's giving up your privacy.
Man, I just have to say, I ain't gonna get any fucking VPN sponsorships, because that shit is bullshit, man. If you know any fucking thing about like computer science or whatever, like VPNs don't fucking help you with like your security or whatever. They're not gonna help with hackers. I hate when like they make the people that are like doing the ask for them be like, yeah man, this is gonna fucking save you're fucking so exposed. How could you not have a VPN, man? You're so exposed. You're gonna fucking literally... You're gonna do you like Anonymous. You're gonna do like Watch Dogs. They're gonna just make your laptop explode. Steal all your money. But with ExpressVPN, no one's even gonna know you exist, bro. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be off the grid because you're using a fucking VPN. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they can literally like track like the IP address behind the VPN. I'm pretty sure. But like either way, it's like, come on, man. Like, a VPN doesn't do that much shit, man. Just changing your IP address gives you a virtual IP address. Like, come on.
You say, okay, well then let's keep that distinction, but biological women should not race against biological men. Because, you know, biology has nothing to do with this, man. Biology is the same as gender. They're back to being exactly the same again. They do this kind of crap all the time, and the internal consistency of the arguments just does not exist. And so instead they live in this echo chamber world. And this gets back to the prank that you played on the fat studies, folks. I mean, all you did was you just entered that echo chamber and spoke the language of the echo chamber, and they don't even understand, because they're never exposed to anyone outside the echo chamber, how absurd it sounds when they are writing papers about the heroism of being fat.
No, you're absolutely right. And
I don't get it. Did Steven Crowder just like go and like write like an actual like earnest like attempt at like a fat studies thing, and like it got like, I don't understand why this is supposed to be such an own, because like maybe if he was saying stuff that's like fucking ridiculous or whatever, then maybe, but like either way, like especially if they're like a professor and like they have like qualifications, like I don't think like, I mean that's the point of like a peer review journal, right, to like publish stuff and have people like review it. Like I don't know if like there were like criticisms of their article or whatever. There's like a similar thing I think with like they were like publishing like really dumb articles, and like conservatives were trying to publish really dumb like social justice articles in like journals or whatever, and like the obvious like retort to this was just like never talked about the fact that they got criticism for the article, and they're just focusing on the fact that, you know, they got published at all. And it's like, now there are arguments, and there have been arguments that like there are some kind of like lax standards, especially in like certain honors degrees, for like what can and cannot be published. I mean that's the case in terms of like all of academia, economics, like everything really. Like a lot of stuff that gets published, you know, is just kind of low quality. It's not a secret that like a lot of stuff that gets published in journals is not actually like that good in terms of like academic rigor or whatever.
Okay, two solutions here. Sports are separated by biology, and this is also how you know that's a bullcrap term, because guess what? Some sports have
by biology. I hate when like the fucking say bullshit. It's like, you mean they separate it by sex? Like they always try to like, everything with gender is like, this is biology. It's like, come on, man. Y'all think you're biologists? Come on. My food's here, so like, give me a bit. Man, it's cold as a motherfucker out there. I got up and just like walked a little bit. I didn't even fucking realize how cold it was, man. I was fucking like freezing. I was like, oh my god. Like, I don't know if you hear this wind outside, but that shit is crazy, man. It's like, ah! And like all of that. Fucking screaming out there, like, holy shit. But no wonder, cause like, I got up, I don't think I've ever been this fucking cold in my own fucking apartment. Like, holy shit. I was so cold, like, this fucking, this weather is crazy.
It comes to me that there are an infinite number of genders. So instead of just, having a bunch of names for genders, we could call you by, like a name, like say your first name. And then we could just actually treat you like you with a first name, but you would also be either a man or a woman, just like every member of a mammalian species in the history of anything. But that might be too complex to call people by first names and treat them as individuals.
Let me ask you this. Your wife is a doctor, obviously.
She is.
So if you say you're non-binary, you don't treat you as an individual. I guess you treat them as a pronoun. Man, like they just make arguments, and it's like I don't even forget what the point of this argument is even supposed to be. Like y'all just seem like you're talking. Like I don't even know what kind of point you're trying to make here.
What does a doctor do in 2020?
What does a doctor do? Doctor just sits around and does nothing. Nothing.
You say, hey, are you male? Okay. What's your height and weight? How do you ensure people remain healthy? Because guess what?
What? Do you think that like fat people don't know what their weight is? Do you think that they don't ask people what their height and weight is when they're going to like to see the doctor? You think they can't tell what their fucking weight is? That if they stood on a scale, they wouldn't be able to record their. What the fuck are you on about?
If you have,
is there an epidemic of like? You can't ask people their height and weights? Like, conservatives just, like, make up random, like, scenarios that they think theoretically could happen, and you're like, this sounds stupid, doesn't it? And you're like, yeah, it's a good thing that's never happened.
If you have a test that comes back with certain levels, certain hormonal levels, right? Certain neurohormone levels, as a woman, and you have those same levels come back as a man, in one case it might mean you're pregnant. In the case of a man, it means you have prostate cancer. So, how do we do that? Oh, wait, hold on a second.
What? I'm pretty sure, like, that's not the only way to, like, check for prostate cancer. Isn't there a thing where you, like, put your hand up a person's ass or something? Or you put your finger up their butt? I remember, but, like, what does that have to do with anything? And why is Steven Crowder, like, acting like he's, like, a doctor of biology or whatever? Like, I'm pretty sure, like, there are ways to, like, consider this stuff, and it just seems like he's talking from a place of ignorance rather than, like, he's actually, like, has any sort of, like, real medical concern or whatever. Like, he should probably just stay out of it. Like, I don't think he knows anything about this.
Wait, well, we're not allowed to discuss that because all body types are healthy. So now, and this is the problem.
What? Who says that all body types are healthy? I even know any, like, super... I've, like, seen it, like, maybe, like, extremely occasionally. But, like, it's pretty rare for me to see someone saying, yeah, being morbidly obese, it's fine for your health. Like, they probably wouldn't describe it as morbidly obese because, morbidly. But, like, oh yeah, being extremely obese, that's, like, super healthy. Like, I don't know anyone who says that.
So why did that fat studies? I mean, it's a prank, but it's not really a prank because the idea was it started out as a goof, but then it was just, look, this is such a house of cards. We need to kick this thing down because today's quackery, and we've lived this in real time, Ben. I mean, you and I have known each other now, since 2009.
Yep.
Today's quackery in the ivory towers of academia is tomorrow's scientific fact. That's the reason that modern gender theory is a thing. It all started with a conference at Yale, and we're laughing about this idea that, fat...
Conference at Yale? What the fuck? I think something exploded out there. What the fuck? Something just happened outside my apartment. I don't know if like it was like an afterburn or something. I don't know. Some kind of explosion or something. I saw like a flash of lights. That was weird.
Pride and these intergender types that have to be treated just as.
Usually it's all body types are potentially healthy / unhealthy. I don't even think I've heard that. I don't even think I've heard like, oh yeah, being obese is like potentially healthy or unhealthy, or like being like extremely anorexic or whatever is like potentially healthy or unhealthy. Like, I don't think I've ever heard that. Or like, I mean, like, maybe I'll like occasionally hear from like people who are like anorexic or fat or whatever and like coping, but like,
you're laughing right now about this man.
Otherwise, I don't think I've ever heard that. Otherwise,
you see it just as legitimate. You're laughing right now.
And I don't think like I've ever seen like people en masse just like saying that. People on the left, like, I don't think I've ever heard that.
Right now about this man, for example, this is news from you. You're saying he claims he's not straight, and people gave him a hard time saying, well, you're actually not queer. 2 years from now, no one will bat an eye. They're like, oh yeah, okay, he's queer.
Yep, that's.
I'm sure it's gonna happen. Like a guy saying, I'm queer because I'm into different kinds of girls. Yeah, everyone's just gonna unquestioningly be like, yeah, that's fine. Like, that just shows like Steven Crowder's like, this is from the queer community, man. I don't think that's reflective of any sort of reality.
That's exactly right, especially because of all the societal incentives.
That's exactly right. Ben Shapiro, fucking expert on the gays.
For people to continue to do this. I mean, there are these polls that are out from Gallup showing that if you're above the age of 65, 0.8% of people identify as LGBTQ plus IA plus minus little squiggly sign that goes over the Spanish letters. Only 0.8% of those people identify that way. If you're between the ages of 18 and 24, 21% of people are now identifying as LGBTQ. Do I believe that 1/5 of all of America's youth are actually going to lead an exclusively gay or lesbian lifestyle?
Well, it wouldn't be exclusively gay or lesbian. It would be gay, lesbian. Does he not know the acronyms? What the acronym means? It's gay, lesbian, trans, bisexual, or any of the other parts of being gay. Like, and this is just an argument for incredulity. Just because you can't believe something in assuming it's not true. I don't even know if that statistic's true or not. But even if it was true, like, it could be fucking 50%, and it wouldn't. Like, I wouldn't be that surprised. Me personally, I think that like most people are born bisexual. Like, on the Kinsey scale, there'd not be 1 or 6. There would be somewhere in the middle of like having some attraction to males and females. That would be my guess as to what the most common sexuality is. And I think there have been studies about this, but I'm not sure. But either way, but my guess is that straight and gay are just like, especially straight's just like a pathology that people take on because of like social mores or whatever, and like really like most people are bisexual. That would be my guess.
No. Do I believe that 1/5 of Americans are actually bisexual in the sense that they regularly participate in sexual activity with members of both sexes? No. I think there are a bunch of people out there who are identifying as this because this is how you gain credence in a society that gives you credit for victimhood simply by self-definition.
Man, I think that's just something you would do, Ben, for like people like you. Like, I'm not saying like nobody would ever like try to like claim something because to like try to look like a victim and like racial dolezal or whatever, but like, I don't think it's that common. I think it's just like mainly like people who aren't actually oppressed doing this kind of stuff, and like not, actual oppressed peoples. Which, Ben, I don't know if Ben believes in oppression, but whatever.
Mine. And said, because it's just sport.
I don't think Ben believes in the existence of oppression or the possibility of oppression.
There are no women who are going to be coming over and dominating men's sports. Why would men say, I think it's wrong? Because contrary to popular belief of patriarchy, we love women, we want to protect them, and we know...
Okay, sure. It doesn't have anything to do with transphobia. It's just, you just love women. You just love and you respect women. That's it. No patriarchy. No patriarchy or just respecting women.
There's a great irony to the fact that you have the entire women's national soccer team who's suing the soccer outfit for more money, saying, well, why aren't we paid the same as the men? And the answer to that should be, okay, well, why don't we just get rid of the separate divisions and we'll see how well you guys compete when you couldn't beat the under 14
What?
boys soccer team in Dallas. That literally happened. They lost to the under 14 football club.
I think I heard about that, but I think that was just like a one-off. I think they actually like they've done like other male versus female things and they perform better and like perform better. It's just like a one thing that conservatives like to harp on. But like, should like performance be based on like? I mean, should pay be based on, you know, how well you play the sport, or is it more based on how much money those matches generate? Because like, if you're not technically as good at fighting, but like you're generating more money than like another thing, then shouldn't you be getting paid more than them because you're generating more money? It's kind of like with female MMA, right? Like a female MMA fighter most times would not beat a male MMA fighter. Now, I don't know what the gender disparity in pay is with that. I mean, like, female MMA has, like, a good rate of, like, watching. Like, people watch female MMA all the time. So, let's say they're about the same. I would expect, like, the females and the males to be paid the same because they're generating the same amount of money. I mean, if they were the same, is what I mean.
Of the boys of Dallas. Something like 6-0. And yet they're supposed to be paid the same.
It happens every time.
Repeatedly.
This isn't an isolated incident. It's a regular occurrence.
And yet the idea is that they should be paid the same as men because they are the same as men, but they're not the same as men, which is why we have to protect them from men, but only from the men who don't identify as women. And if those men do identify as women, then the women have to treat them like they're men because they're not. It's like, if you can follow the logic here, it just, how much, honestly, I think so. And the women have to treat them like they're men because they're not. It's like, if you can follow the logic here.
Treat them like they're men?
Honestly,
What?
I think so much.
I thought they were going to treat them like women. What are you talking about? But, you know, like, Brent has such a desire to, like, talk and, like, appear smart that, like, he just says things that just don't make any sense. Because, like, he's trying to, like, get some kind of gotcha and, like, fucking meme on the lips. Half of the times his memes don't even make sense. He's just speaking really fast so people don't realize.
I'll put the pronouns in my bio because it makes me feel like I'm being nicer to people. But what you're really saying is that you buy into an entire worldview when you do this. 98% of the people
oh no, how dare you,
in their Twitter profiles are people who are not transgender. They're just normal straight people. And when I say normal, statistically normal straight people who are putting this in their Twitter bio so that they can feel good by tolerating and accepting and celebrating people who have decided that they are not going to act in conjunction with actual biology or reason.
I actually like.
Oh my gosh! How dare they? He's like literally like furious because what, you know, he put all this emotive language behind it, but he's just mad because like some cis people are like allying with the trans community and showing solidarity by putting pronouns in their bio. How dare they? I guess.
More effective knee repellent is someone wearing a mask by themselves in their car. So if I see someone put their pronouns in their bio, I am cutting them a wide berth. But people try to say that, get rid of divisions. Let me give you one exception, Ben. This is how you know I'm not sexist. You know one exception where women actually...
This is how you know I'm not sexist. Look, anyone who says that, they're probably sexist. Like, I don't know if like you can even have one thing that will prove for all time that you're not sexist.
You would find a handful of women amongst the men. Shooting sport. Specifically small bore shooting. Guess what? There were even countries in the past that separated the divisions because they had female athletes who were out competing the men. And this is something the left doesn't want to acknowledge because guess what? In every other sport that we're talking about physical advantages, the men win. There's one exception, and that's where it's mechanical.
Who the fuck on the left thinks that like men generally wouldn't beat women in most sports?
Again, because guess what?
Or like male athletes would generally beat female athletes in most sports.
That a female... There's no intrinsic reason, right? There's no innate reason that a female could not be as good of a shooter as a male. I don't want to talk about that.
What? I can imagine many intrinsic reasons. Like, I'm pretty sure like the amount of arm muscles that you have, and like back muscles or whatever, controls your ability to, or like affects your ability to like control your shots or whatever, and like the amount of muscles in your wrist or whatever. that would like control your ability to like make an accurate shot. I would guess.
Because that opens Pandora's box to, oh, so that's why female gun ownership is important.
So, Stephen,
What?
Now that you have identified...
What kind of
Female.
point is this?
There's no intrinsic reason, right? There's no innate reason that a female could not...
Hold on,
And
let's
this is
see.
something the left doesn't want to acknowledge, because guess what? In every other sport where we're talking about physical advantages, the men win. There's one exception, and that's where it's a mechanical advantage. Because guess what? There's no reason that a female... There's no intrinsic reason, right? There's no innate reason that a female could not be as good of a shooter as a male. And I want to talk about that because that opens Pandora's box to, oh, so that's why female gun ownership is important.
What? Bro, I hate to fucking listen to this shit again. That shit made no fucking sense to me.
This is something the left doesn't want to acknowledge, because guess what? In every other sport where we're talking about physical advantages, the men win. There's one exception, and that's where it's a mechanical advantage. Because guess what? There's no reason that a female...
There's one exception because there's a mechanical advantage, and there's no reason a female shouldn't be able to beat the male.
There's no intrinsic reason, right? There's no innate...
But the left doesn't want to admit that the females could beat the males in shooting because that would open the door for
that a
female
could
gun
not be as good a shooter
ownership.
as a male. And I want to talk about that because that...
Bro,
opens Pandora's
what?
box to, oh, so that's why female gun ownership is important.
Bro, what are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. I don't know how to respond to that because that was a complete non sequitur. I don't know what the fuck he's saying.
So, Stephen, now that you have identified as a fat woman...
Well, half the time that I listen to these conservatives, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what you're saying doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know how to respond to this because the train of thought doesn't even, like, follow. Like, I don't even understand what kind of, like, thought you're trying to portray here. This doesn't make any sense. Armos has very little to do with firing guns. This whole argument is predicted on, of course, all women are weaker than men. I don't even know what this argument is supposed to be. Like, I don't understand what kind of point he's making. Okay, so yeah, that was Ben Shapiro. That was, yeah, it was taxing as I expected it to be. Taxing on my soul. Holy shit.